Hello, my name's Mireya Pimentel, and for my author discussion, I chose Richard Wright. So, Richard Wright was born in 1908 in a plantation. He was the son of Nathaniel Wright and Ella Wilson. In 1913, his father left the home and he was forced to live in an orphanage. In 1927, Wright left to Chicago to look for a better life. In 1932, he became part of the John Reed Club affiliation with the Communist Party. In 1937, Blueprint for Negro Writing was published. In 1938, Uncle Tom's Children won first prize for a story magazine. In 1940, Native Son was published and was the first best-selling novel by a Black American writer and the first book of the month club selection by an African American writer. In 1942, he published I Tried to Be a Communist after leaving the Communist Party. In 1945, he published his autobiography, Black Boy, and in 1960, he passed away. So, the Blueprint for Negro Writing talks about the progression of African American writing, shows the cultural impact on African Americans. It shows how it gave them power to establish an identity in society, demonstrate their writing capabilities, and argue for equality. However, Wright believes that their writing is misguided in that it fails to address their needs, their sufferings, their aspirations. So some of the themes that I found, one of which was hierarchy of races. So one of the quotes that I thought that correlated with this the best was, they entered in the knee pants of severality, curtsying to show that the Negro was not inferior, that he was human, and that he had a life comparable to other people. For the most part, these artistic ambassadors were received as though they were French poodles who do clever tricks. So in other words, the French poodle is some kind of symbolism to show how they weren't taken seriously and they were used more so for amusement rather than actual scholars. So that way the poodle creates an image of something that cannot be taken seriously. This could also be a way of criticizing some of the ideals of Booker T. Washington, who believed it was imperative to show the white class African Americans were a valuable part of society by assimilating to white culture. I guess in a way it was criticizing that need, well, not necessarily need for approval, but that desire for approval in the white class to be able to be introduced to it and be part of it. The second theme I found was social progression. Another quote I found that correlated with that was, "It became the voice of educated Negro pleading with white America for justice." In other words, the writing, the literature, was used as a tool to elevate social status. It showed how African Americans have progressed in their capability to break through some social constructs in writing. The third theme I found was assimilation and lack of identity. So one of the quotes I found was, "Rarely was the best of this writing addressed to the Negro himself, his needs, his sufferings, his aspirations. Through misdirection, Negro writers have been far better to others than they have been to themselves." So, in other words, the typical African American writer is misguided in that it seeks the approval of the white class instead of writing about the issues at hand, demanding for change. They don't necessarily talk about themselves, but they try to please the white class in order to, I guess, be introduced or be part of that society. The fourth theme I found was the construction of literature, which is something Wright talks about a lot. The overall purpose of the author is to demand more from African American writers. He wants an involvement in their image. He wants them to be taken seriously in the eyes of the white class, and he wants them to demand more and demonstrate their aspirations, their sufferings, and their needs as people in their writing. And here are my references, and thank you very much for watching.